Hello guys, welcome back and blessed be. I am going to try something and I'm going to contact the author of the article, so if it's not welcome for me to do this, I will take it down. And by the way, this is not for profit. Any of the article readings won't be for profit. But this is Loki Trickster's Flame, the website, and what I want to do is bring you maybe once a week articles I find good and uplifting that can maybe help you along the way. And this is on the responsibility of being a Lokean by Tashlin. Okay, this was originally written for the month for Loki project. Yeah, I got that right. This is a bit of a rant rather than a well-reasoned post. I am full of vinegar. I've done this twice, I still messed it up, to mix metaphors, and I can't seem to continue until I get this off my chest, so I apologize if this isn't the most well-worded, nicest month for Loki post you've read. No, I don't. Anyway, Loki has a bad reputation. When Snorri wrote the Eddas, he could only conceptualize religion having some sort of clear morality. There is good and there is evil. Those that he saw as being good, like Odin, were venerated, and those he saw as being not good, like Loki, were demonized. It's practically pure corroborated gnosis at this point that Odin isn't only a wise old man who sacrificed himself for knowledge. A lot of us has seen and interacted with Odin in his face as a frat boy who likes to get drunk with Loki and dance with hot people of all genders. True. And most Odinist spirit workers I've met would agree with me that Odin is not comparable to Jesus as Snorri likes to make him out to be. The same goes for Loki. Snorri saw a god venerated for being cunning, quick-witted, and able to see outside the box to find answers. And Snorri decided that Loki was equitable with the Christian Satan. If you notice, there isn't a disciple of Christ who's known for those traits either. They're just not traits the Christian church wants to encourage in their followers. Also true, because they might start asking questions. So it makes perfect sense to paint Loki with a Satan-colored brush. There's been actual academic work done to prove that some of the tales Snorri wrote down were changed so as better create his black-white morality with the Eddas. There's open debate as to whether Loki played the role in Ragnarok the Eddas portray, as there seems to be other accounts, not UPG but other folktales, where he is noticeably absent. There's even some debate as to the content of the Lokasenna as well. And remember guys, unless Odin himself came down and wrote, the Eddas and everything else, it's all UPG. So, I hate to say that, make people angry, but it's true. It's just some UPGs get accepted and, it is fact and others don't. Okay, but let us continue. But I don't need to be telling you, if you're reading a Month for Loki post, that Loki has a bad rap. The whole impetus for this project stems from the implication that simply toasting Loki during a grand moot somehow threatens Frith in a way no one has yet to explain. Get that? Just bringing his name up is a decisive thing. It's true, there are people that will swear up and down that hate Loki, that every time you mention his name, bad luck happens, and I attribute it to, well, yeah, if Loki knows a room full of people hate him, and one of his devotees mentions his name, then he's going to spread his energy around. I'm not saying he causes the bad luck. They're most likely blaming him for things Loki didn't even do, but, he's not one of those gods that you can hate him and he's not going to do something about. We all love Loki because he's not going to put up with that crap. Okay, here's why I'm ranty about this today. I believe very strongly, like at the core of my being, that one of the things all Lokeans are called to do is serve as representatives of him. True. We must be held to a higher standard because there is honor and morality and intelligence and trustworthiness in those he chooses. Also true. Granted, I'd be blind if I said there aren't people, either on the internet or in real life, who do assholic things and use Loki as their shit shield. That is to be a troll and then blame Loki for it. Oh, I missed some of those, honey. There are those that automatically blame Loki when anything bad or unplanned or accidental happens to them. Heathens tend to blame Loki for bad weather, for relationships coming to an end, and anything else that makes them feel bad or uncomfortable or challenged. In a way, they're not entirely wrong. Loki is a god of creative, productive destruction, and so oftentimes he is called in when something needs to be changed. However, just because you stubbed your toe or your lover cheated on you does not mean that Loki is to blame. Amen to that. So, as a representative of Loki on Midgard, it is my onus to prove that one can hail Loki and not be a jerk. That I do have strong moral and ethics, and that they aren't much different from that of an Odin's person, or a Freya's person, or even a Scotty's person. There are those who think that if I show interest in something, it means I'm there to ruin it or run it into the ground. That's just not true. There are many things I have brought me and my Loki's energy to that have flourished and grown. But that's because I work hard at it. I'm aware that I represent a not very well-liked god, and that in the beginning I'm going to have to prove that I'll live up to my word. That I'll take the high road if the high road is the right way to go. That I won't just steal whatever I need, but ask for it respectfully, or better yet, earn my right to have it. Yeah, like Loki is big on that. Don't ever steal crap in front of him. And oh god, if you've stolen something, either give it back or make up for something. Don't, for the love of the gods, don't ever put it on his altar. There are just as many people who claim kinship with Loki who embarrass me. I hear you there. We use him as a means to an end, either to take advantage of the good graces of the social circle that exists between Lokeans, or to excuse terribly rude and unprovoked behavior by claiming that Loki made me do it. Oh god, I hate that. It's so immature on so many levels, you just want to slap him across the face. I ask you then, what do you do to bring a good reputation to the gods you serve? In what ways are you aware that what you do and say reflects upon your claim kinship with, whether they may be gods, your communities, or your families of choice, etc.? What have you changed about yourself in order to bring better glory to those you love? And that's a good question, because a lot of times we can forget that we represent our gods to people. If you say I'm a Lokean, or you say I'm a whatever, people are going to look to you and they're going to judge your god by your actions. So if you're going around being a grand tool bag, they're going to really be hurt, and that's going to really hurt Loki in the end, or your god of choice. Thank you for reading my little rant. I actually do feel a little better. Part of what I'm struggling with here is personal. I'm way behind on a lot of work, and I feel like I'm falling into the assumptions that people make about people like me, disabled people, spirit workers, Lokeans, etc. That I'm being flighty, or taking on more than I can handle, or not living up to my obligations because I don't care. Real truth is, I just have so much on my plate right now. I'm moving a little slower than normal. But I have to keep reminding myself that I'm plugging away the best I can. But at the same time, making sure that my basic needs are met before I start trying to help others. Artwork by Recall? Okay, guys. So this was last modified on January 13th, 2013. My thing isn't going to scroll anymore. So I am going to contact the author. I'm going to say, I've done this video, but point out that it's not for profit. I just like sharing stuff with you guys, because I know today people are so busy. A lot of people don't have time to go do research. I mean, you should make the time as a Lokean, but I also know some people are like, oh, research. I hate research. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I don't mind doing not-for-profit videos. You guys know, until I hit 10,000 views again. Until I hit 10,000 views, this channel is not monetized. It'll say I'm monetized, but YouTube is not going to pay me anything until I get back up to 10,000 views, or 100 viewers, or whatever the rule is this week that they've magically come up with. So, you know, this is a labor of love to me. I do it for Loki because, you know, I want people to see him in the right light. I don't want them running into some of the people I've run into people that are silly or stupid or downright criminal, and they blame all their terrible actions on Loki. It's like I read this one article by this, calling them a human being is a stretch, that said that, well, because Odin did such and such, you should be able to go do such and such. And I'm like, no, that's actually not how serving Odin works, but you go ahead and say that. Never live up to the worst your gods have been said to have done. Only live up to the best, because remember, all of our stories are unverified personal gnosis. The gods could have inspired them up and down, left and right, but unless the gods themselves wrote them down and handed them to us, they're just tales. They're sacred, wonderful tales to many of us, but they're just that. They're just tales. So I hope you guys like what you see. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. And I hope this works out. And I hope I can start bringing you articles, because I want to do this to preserve these articles, because once they're gone, taken down off the internet, they're gone. Okay, so I will see you guys later. Happy Saturday, happy Loki's Day, and I hope this video finds you well. Bye-bye.